Hi, happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to Yin and Restorative Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and today will be a heart chakra centered practice, including all parts of the body, of course. So make sure you have a couple of blocks, a strap, a pillow, and a blanket. And you might even prop your pelvis up on any of those props so that you can comfortably find a seat that's appropriate for you, where you can ground evenly through the pelvis and sit upright with a tall spine, taking a moment to wiggle out anything that may just need to get some movement in before you settle into stillness. Take a look around your space, visually orient yourself, and make a conscious transition into your yoga practice. So you may have heard the quote by Rumi that circulates quite a bit. I've actually quoted it several times in some of our classes. However, I just recently discovered that 3 words at the end are often omitted from this quote. So here it is. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it and embrace them. Those were the 3 last words, and embrace them, those barriers. So the question might be, what are the barriers? Well, first of all, yoga reminds us that our true nature, our core essence is love. That is our divine nature. And so the source of love is from within us, as Rumi prompts us not to look for it externally, but to go back inward and source it from within. So then the question of obstacles is the question of how might you be pinching yourself off from your own source of well-being and love. We talked a little bit about, just before we started this class, how sometimes people can feel guilty when they need to be productive and they're giving themselves time to rest instead. Maybe they're not feeling well, or they just need to take a day off. And so how do we embrace whatever way we might be pinching ourselves off from that joy, or that letting ourselves enjoy rest? Tara Brach, mindfulness teacher, wrote a book called Radical Acceptance. And she actually cites the poet Rilke, "You nights of anguish, why didn't I kneel more deeply to accept you? Inconsolable sisters, and surrendering, lose myself in your loosened hair. How we squander our hours of pain, how we gaze beyond them into the bitter duration to see if they have an end, though they are really seasons of us, our winter." Often the opposite of love is talked about as fear. And so Tara Brach, and fear can be disguised or show up as other emotions like anger, resentment. So Tara Brach goes on to say, if we are waiting only for our fear to end, we will not discover the pure and loving presence that unfolds as we surrender into the darkest nights. Our willingness to face our fear, or rather, as Ruby said, embrace those obstacles, frees us from trance and bestows on us the blessings of awareness. We let go of deeper and subtler layers of resistance until there's nothing left to resist at all. There is only awake and open awareness. So how do we take those moments of suffering in which we might be somehow pinching ourselves off from the source of love within as moments in which we can actually extend gentleness to ourselves, compassion, deep listening? As another mindfulness teacher, Pema Chodron, teaches, those moments of our own suffering are opportunities to learn authentic compassion that we can extend to others. So what is the value in embracing the so-called obstacles or the barriers to love. So that instead of plowing through the obstacles or using force or chopping them down, we instead listen more deeply and extend a loving curiosity. So let's bring that into how we practice with our bodies, tuning into our bodies as we move gently and into stillness. And then we're going to have a little bit longer meditation than 5 minutes today, maybe more, 5 to 10 minutes, as we practice loving kindness or metta meditation. So let's begin. As you're sitting still, maybe close your eyes and begin to scan your awareness throughout your physical body. Cultivating that gentle, caring listening as you observe whatever sensations you're experiencing, all as good information. Notice even the sensations in the breath. No need to change how you're breathing. You might sense the pace or the depth of the breath. Again, all good information about how you feel energetically. Then bring your awareness to your heart center, maybe even touch the area of your chest. And notice energetically how you might be feeling there. Or any emotions that feel more alive in you right now. Holding space for any gamut of emotions. Notice any particular thoughts, any repeating thoughts, sensing your mental and emotional state. So when we talk about awakening the energy of your heart center, which is called Anahata Chakra, we can practice things like different breathing techniques because the lungs are part of the area of that center. But it's also much of that sourcing the love from within, that balance of giving and receiving. And let's start with a breath work. So inhale, filling up slowly into your rib cage. Exhale out to your lips. Maybe a little bit slower. Allow the breath to expand into other areas, maybe more into your side ribs, the back ribs, your collarbones, the pit of your belly. Allow the exhale to last just as long as the in-breath. And on your next breath in, I invite you to find a pause at the very top for a few seconds. And notice how that feels, that fullness of the inhalation. And on your next exhale, I invite you to pause at the bottom and sense how that feels, that emptied breath. One more time, pausing at both ends of the breath as you invite spaciousness between. We know that lengthening the breath consciously is one way to regulate your nervous system and invite calm and ease. Another way is to also chant, create a vibrational sound. And today, instead of Om in the beginning, I'll invite you to chant the seed sound or the Bija mantra that helps to awaken the energy of your heart chakra. And it's a sound that you might make when you taste something delicious. Yum. So before doing so, call to mind anything that you appreciate, which is yet another way to contact energy of the heart. offering gratitude. And whether out loud or mentally, define your intention for today's practice. What are you extending loving energy towards cultivating? And remembering our connection to all beings, to whom might you choose to dedicate today's practice? And now let's prepare to chant Yum. And you might visualize sending that sound right into your heart center, visualizing the color green associated with Anahata. Maybe joining the palms there. Prepare, inhaling deeply. Yum. 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 Bowing in. So take a look at how you are sitting. If you're sitting cross-legged, I invite you to switch your shin that's forward or on top to get an even stretch in your hips as we're going to sit just a little bit longer to practice a pranayama called Durga pranayama, or three-part breathing technique. As I mentioned before, various pranayamas are ways to activate balanced energy flow through your heart center. So make sure that you're sitting comfortably and relaxed and tall, where you can allow the breath to really fill up your torso. And imagine that your torso is a jar. The bottom of the jar is your pelvic floor, and the top is right at the bottom of your skull. Now imagine dividing that jar into 3 cross sections. So from your belly button to your pelvic floor is the lowest or first cross section. And that goes all the way around to the lower back, lower belly. And then most of your rib cage, you can even touch the area of your side ribs here, encompasses the middle or second cross section of your torso. And then your chest, your upper back, and your neck includes the top or the third part of your torso. So we'll inhale 1/3 into the lowest cross section. We'll pause. Then we'll inhale another third into the mid cross section and pause. And we'll inhale the last third all the way to the top of the neck and hold the breath a few seconds. And then through the nose, we'll exhale very slowly all the way out and hold the breath at the bottom for a few seconds. So as we're breathing through each part, you might place your hands there, especially if you're a very kinesthetic or tactile person, like at your lower belly, lower back, your side ribs. Really feel that you're expanding there, and then into your chest. So let's prepare by emptying this breath. We'll practice 3 cycles together, 2 cycles on your own. Hold the breath out. And start with the lowest cross section. Inhale 1/3. Pause into the mid cross section, side ribs inhale. Pause into the top, inhale. Hold your breath, relax your body. And through your nose, very slowly exhale. Hold your breath at the bottom, keep sitting tall. Second cycle. Inhale the first third. Pause. Inhale the second third. Pause. Inhale to the top. Hold the breath. Exhale everything slowly. Hold the breath. Last cycle together. Inhale the first third. Pause. Inhale the second third. Pause. Inhale to the top. Hold the breath. Exhale everything slowly. Hold at the bottom. And then keep going 2 more cycles on your own. Durga Pranayama. Take your time to finish at your pace. And when you do, let go of controlling the breath for a moment and notice how you feel. And now to guide us into our physical movements and postures, we'll start Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breathing technique. So with no longer holding the breath, inhale slowly through your nose and fill up all 3 parts, even the back area of your torso. When you get to the top, smoothly transition to the exhalation, making it just as slow as the inhalation. So fine-tuning, balancing your in and out breaths, and begin to create a very gentle, smooth, whispering sound by softly constricting or narrowing the back of your throat. Listen to that sound and bring into the qualities of calm, ease, so that as we move the body will follow suit. And we'll start to move here. So press your hands down into your lap, root the sitting bones, lift up through the back of your skull. And as you inhale, sway your torso to your left and forward. As you exhale to the right and back. So keep circling the spine, and you can make it a little more loose if you like. You can let the head sway, bringing some more movement into the neck. You can let the shoulders roll as well. Add your own flavor, and then take a few more cycles, switching it up. Go in the opposite direction. Feel free to even play with figure eights, a little twisting motion. So we're just loosening up the spine, especially in the area of near the pelvis. Let's take another 4 cycles of breath. These are often called Sufi rolls. And then we'll isolate the movement at your cervical spine at your neck. So sit up tall, relax the shoulders, drop your chin towards your sternum. Inhale, sway the left ear towards your left shoulder. And take as many breaths around, right? So take it as slowly as you need to so that you're being gentle. Maybe a couple of circles in one direction and then a couple more in the opposite direction, pacing yourself. If one angle feels kind of creaky, you might pause there and just breathe for a moment. And then one more last movement sitting down here. So lifting up all the way through the crown of the head, inhale your arms overhead, rotate the triceps forward, press the shoulders down, and then exhale, open the arms wide apart and twist to your right side, keeping the pelvis still. If it feels okay on your neck, look behind the right shoulder. Inhale, lift the arms, come back to center. Exhale, twisting across your waist to your left side, maybe look behind you. Let's try 2 more in each direction. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Let the shoulder blades slide further down. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Taking your time to feel the full length of each breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. And exhale, twist. All right, let's make our way down into tabletop position on your hands and knees. And we'll begin flexion and extension of your spine. Cat-cow pose. So as you land your palms face down on the floor, if you want to also give your wrists a stretch, you could turn out your hands. Maybe the fingertips face the left and right edges of your mat, or maybe they face the back of your mat. Set your shoulders up right on top of your wrists, but step your knees a couple of inches behind your hips so the torso has extra space to move around. Now, following your breath, inhale as you glide your torso forward and slowly coil your chest up, gazing up into cow pose. Exhale as you slowly contract your abdomen, letting the head fall and your tailbone tuck underneath you into cat pose. And then just like that, go for maybe 5 or so more cycles of breath. Cat-cow pose, or in Sanskrit, Bitalasana. And if you are turning your fingertips out, you may want a counterbalancing stretch onto your outer wrists. If so, lean back onto your shins for a moment so that you can make fists out of your hands. Give yourself a fist bump, and then place your backs of your fists about a foot in front of your knees so that you flare your bent elbows off the ground. And then maybe move around in cat-cow or gently shake the head no. So for another 5 breaths or so, make the movement more organic. So listen inward to how your body is itching to move. And pair it with the breath. Maybe the pelvis wants to sway side to side. Whether you're making fists with your hands or not, you may want to shake out the arms, shake out the hands, remembering all these parts are connected, but especially if we focus a bit on the heart center area, the arms, the shoulders, the wrists, the hands, the jaw, very connected. Let's make our way into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So as you spread your fingers flat, make sure the index fingers are either pointing forward or slightly turned out. Separate your feet at least hips width apart and lift your hips high. So allow a few breaths for any of your own kind of movement. Anything that just needs to shift around here. Maybe even sound. You might even chant a few more yams. The seed sound of anahata. Yam. Or loosen the jaw by fluttering the lips. Let your hands feel as if you are pushing your mat underground and ahead of you. Your hips can feel really lifted and drawn back, so you're lengthening through both ends of your spine. Let the head be heavy. Relax your neck as much as you can. Roll your outer upper arms towards the ground. And now bend your right knee generously. Sway your hips to the right and drop the left heel. Look underneath your left armpit towards the sky. Breathe here, tacking the left outer hip back, lengthening the left side of your torso. Come back to center, bend the left knee generously, and pivot your heels to the left side, dropping the right heel as you straighten the right leg. Look under your right armpit towards the sky and then loosen your neck. Deep breaths. Tacking your right outer hip back. Let's try that once more on each side. Inhale through center. Swivel your hips to the right and drop the left heel. Exhale, look under the left armpit. Soften your neck and jaw. Breathe here. Breathe into the left wall of your rib cage, especially. Breathe into your outer left armpit. And then let's switch. Swivel your hips to the left, drop the right heel, look under your right armpit towards the sky, and then relax your neck. Send the breath all the way throughout your right side body. As you make your way through center again, set your knees on the ground and step your right foot forward beside your right thumb, coming into a kneeling lunge. Now, you may like to have your hands on blocks framing your right ankle as we're going to set up for kneeling lunge, pyramid pose, in and out flow. So have your fingertips where your shoulders can relax, tuck your left toes, and make sure that your right knee is directly above your right heel and that you're not over bending it in front of the heel like this. So as you breathe in, let your pelvis sink towards the earth, but feel buoyancy at your chest. Lift the heart, gaze up. As you breathe out, lift the left knee, and to whatever degree is comfortable, begin to straighten both legs by scissoring the right hip back. So tack the right hip back, reach your chest forward to create a length in your spine as you bow. Let's take in another 4 cycles of breath. Inhale, lower the left knee, kneeling lunge, gaze up. Exhale, pyramid pose. Draw the right hip back, reach your chest forward and fold. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, kneeling lunge. And exhale, pyramid. Set the left knee down and step the right knee back. Let's switch. Step the left foot beside your left thumb into the second side. Front knee is right on top of the heel. Tuck your right toes. Inhale, sink your hips and gaze up. Lift your heart. Exhale, lift your right knee. Begin to draw the left outer hip back. Whatever degree you can straighten the legs comfortably and bow without rounding the back. Inhale, kneeling lunge, gaze up. Exhale, pyramid. 3 more cycles of breath. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, lunge. And exhale, pyramid. This time, come into a high lunge, gaze forward and step the right foot hips distance from the left. Forward fold. Whether you choose to grab a strap and hold it between your hands so your thumbs are pointing away from your spine, or you clasp your hands behind you, bend your knees generously so that you can easily bow and relax the neck. Tilting your weight forward, try to get your hips to stack above your heels. Engage the belly as you inhale, reach your chest forward and roll the shoulders back, coming up halfway. Exhale, drop your head and completely bow for a few breaths here, stretching the arms further and further away from your lower back. Now, as you bend the elbows, it gives you a little more allowance to be able to lift the shoulder bones away from your neck as you drop the head. Maybe shake out the head. Maybe you straighten one leg, lean towards it, and then switch. A few more breaths. Maybe you switch the interlacing of the thumb on top. Notice if that feels any different in the shoulders. Full fluid breaths. Now as you release the arms, shimmy out the shoulders, bend the knees even more. Maybe shimmy out the spine and the head. Hanging free like a rag doll. Couple more breaths. As you keep the knees bent, begin to roll up on an inhalation so that you lift your head last. Imagine you're stacking each vertebra on top of the other. Shrugging your shoulders as you rise to the top, circle the shoulders behind you and release them down. Mountain pose. All right, I think I'm one. So here, we're gonna move into a heart-centered Qigong movement. So start with your feet together, touching. Now, each of the fingers actually is connected to different organs or elements. And so the pinky fingers connected to the heart energy. So starting here in mountain pose, you'll step left foot out to the side, maybe about shoulders width apart, where you can bend the knees loosely. And then with the pinky fingers touching, imagine that you're scooping water from a river and raising the arms overhead. Imagine you're pouring that water over you like a purification ritual. And then from here, spreading your arms apart like you're a bird soaring. And then you'll step the left foot again to meet the right and return to mountain pose. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Pinky fingers touching, right foot steps out, knees slightly bent. Inhale, scoop the water overhead. Exhale, pour it over you. Inhale, splay your wings apart. Exhale, back to center. Try a few more. Inhale, left foot steps, pinky fingers, scoop the water overhead. Exhale, pour it over you. Inhale, splay your wings to soar. Exhale, back to center. Other side, inhale, right foot, scoop the water. Pinky fingers touching. Exhale, pour it over you, cleanse. Inhale, spread your wings to soar. Exhale, back to center. One more on each side. Inhale, step the left foot out, scoop the water. Deep breaths. Exhale, cleanse and pour it over you. Inhale, spread your wings. Exhale, back to center. Last one. Step the right foot out. Inhale, pinky fingers touch, scoop the water. Exhale, pour it over you. Inhale, spread your wings. Exhale, back to center. And with that, hopefully we've also warmed up the shoulders. We can start to get into a little more back bending. So come on down to sit, take your blanket or your beach towel, open it up so that maybe it's about, you got the width of your mat like this, maybe a little wider than the width, and then we'll make a rolled up burrito, egg roll, whatever you want to call it. Make it nice and smooth and sort of firm roll. You decide the thickness of it, because we're going to be placing it right underneath your scapula, right underneath your shoulder blades to create our first gentler back bend. So, I mean, these are all going to be gentle, but this is going to be the lightest one. So make sure it's pretty even on the left and right sides. And for your legs, you may want to place a pillow or a second rolled up blanket, cross it underneath the backs of your knees. And shake out the legs, let the feet flop out so they're wider than hips distance. And keeping your pelvis on the ground, lean back and find the area that's just right underneath your shoulder blades to land on that rolled up blanket. And just make sure that it feels symmetrical. Sliding the shoulder blades down your back. Let your shoulder bones land on the ground behind you, and it's okay if they're slightly lifted away from the ground. Bend your elbows apart like a cactus shape, and then try to lengthen through the sides of your neck, left and right evenly. Lengthen through the back of your neck, and feel the open space at the front of your neck, at your throat. Palms are face up. Sense that there's symmetry. You have even weight through both hips, both legs and feet, both shoulders. And we're going to be in this restorative position for about 3 more minutes. So bring your awareness to your breathing. And let's practice that deep listening. Sensing how your breath moves and where you can feel it expanding in your body. And then sensing how your body shifts or moves on the exhalation. For example, you might feel how the rib cage becomes smaller again, or how the belly softens towards the spine. As you engage with the breath, something so subtle, you practice deep listening. Becoming more aware of subtle details about your breath. Can you notice your left ribs expanding, your right ribs expanding? Are they receiving equal expansion? Allow 3 more slow breaths here. And when you finish, move very slowly and easily. Start to remove the pillow or whatever prop you might have underneath you, like from the backs of your knees, from underneath your shoulder blades, so that you can lie flat on the ground with your knees still bent. From there, step your feet apart so they are wider than your hips distance. Separate your knees as wide apart as your feet. And as you keep your feet on the ground, drop your knees all the way to the right. Notice how your legs do not touch each other. Align your left knee to trace the midline of your mat. You might need to scoot your left foot towards the left edge of your mat. Pause here and notice how your body feels, especially along the left side of your pelvis, like the front of your left hip, the left side of your lower back. Be in the sensations there. And if you're not feeling much sensation, then you might go ahead and cross your right ankle onto your left thigh so it's just above your left knee. Notice if there is a shift in the sensations. And if that's too much, you can always come back to the original position. Or you could also explore increasing opening up towards your torso by raising your arms overhead, bending your elbows, and holding opposite elbows as you drop the arms back and soften your shoulders down your back. So this posture is targeting the area of your psoas, which is a muscle that crisscrosses, or there are muscles that crisscross the front creases of your hips, underneath your digestive organs, and into your lower back region. Often called your fight or flight reflex muscles. So notice now what kinds of sensations you're experiencing. You don't have to label the emotions verbally in your mind, but be with the sensations. Kind of like when we talked about the Rumi quote, embracing the barriers. So embracing what you encounter here, including any resistance you might detect. Now feel another 3 slow breaths before we begin to move. And slowly begin to step your feet on the ground, bending the knees, feet wider apart than hips distance, knees as wide apart as your feet. Relax the arms for a moment and just pause. Notice as you unravel from the posture, what's here now? What are you feeling? Keep inviting the expansiveness of your breath. Using the breath to hold space for whatever you're observing. Now let's drop the knees to the left. Align your right knee down the middle of your mat. Pause here. Let's practice some deep listening around the right side of your pelvis. Feeling any subtle or not so subtle sensations. You might choose to stay in this version of the pose, Or add crossing your left ankle just above your right knee onto your right thigh. Notice what happens here. And then if you added the arms on the first side, you might choose to do so here and switch the cross of the elbow on top. Being in the aliveness of your body through each breath. Sense 3 more deep breaths flowing through your body here. When you're ready, very slowly and gently begin to lift your knees, keep them bent, set your feet onto the ground, wider than hips width, and relax your arms. Pause a moment and observe any shifts and sensations, if any. Draw your bent knees together into your chest. And you might choose to rock gently side to side or rotate the legs together or apart. Gently massaging your lower back on the ground. Let's come into a simple supine twist for a few breaths. So choose to either keep your legs together, knees bent, or if you're wanting a bit more feeling in the twist, you could wrap the right leg over the left. Slide your pelvis another 3 to 5 inches towards the right edge of your mat. Open your arms wide apart on the ground and make sure the right shoulder stays on the floor. Maybe look past it. Lift your feet and begin to drop your knees to your left side. Just enough where your right shoulder can stay on the floor. We're only here for about 5 deep breaths. Coming back to center. If you wrap the right leg on top, wrap the left leg on top. And from the midline of your mat, slide your pelvis another 3 to 5 inches towards the left edge. Looking over the left shoulder, keep it on the ground, lift your feet, and slowly drop your knees to your right side for 5 breaths. Coming back to center, uncross your legs and either turn over to one side or rock yourself forward up to sit. Extend your legs in front of you for seated forward fold, again for about 5 breaths. So as you separate the feet hips width apart and flexed, you could opt to place a strap around the balls of your feet as an extension of your arms like this to be able to keep the shoulders relaxed, or eventually walk the hands down the legs and clasp your big toes. If you can do that while still lengthening your neck and opening your throat. First, ground your sitting bones, and as you're flexing your feet, press the insteps forward and activate the muscles in the front of your thighs. Pressing your hips down, breathe in and lengthen through the front and back of your spine. Breathe out, start to hinge forward from your hips, then pause, inhaling as you root the pelvis down and continue to stretch the spine longer. Exhale, maybe fold another little bit. Keep going for a total of about 5 breaths in Paschimottanasana. Leading with your chest, inhale, slowly rise up. For our restorative, for our Shavasana, our corpse pose, I'll invite you into a restorative supported fish pose, taking the back bend a little further than our rolled up blanket. So using 2 blocks, placing one block either at the medium height or the tallest height, which is helpful if you tend to have more rounded shoulders, gives you just a little milder version of this. Place the medium height of the second block, tracing the midline of your mat. So the blocks are maybe about 1 inch apart. Now we're going to set up the legs in external rotation at the hips in Supta Baddha Konasana. You might like to make a loop out of your strap to give yourself support so you can do this easily. Making a loop as large as a hula hoop, pretty much. Slightly smaller. So that you can wear it like a hula hoop, like this, and place it around the very top of your pelvis. You can feel the bones there. As you bring the soles of your feet together, bending the knees apart, place the strap around the outsides of your feet, and then tighten or loosen the strap so that this is snug, not too tight. The buckle is not digging into your skin, but you can loosen or tighten it when you lie down. And then keeping the pelvis on the floor, start to lean back so that the area around the inner bottom tips of your shoulder blades meets the closest edge of the closest block. The shoulders drop open out to the sides, helping to broaden the chest. And then the back of your skull, not the back of your neck, lands on the furthest block. And then make any slight adjustments, because even a millimeter adjustment can make a huge difference in how this feels. You want to feel expansive at your heart center. Roll the shoulder bones back and slide the shoulder blades down the back. And then turn your palms to face up, down by your sides. Let your skull be just heavy. Your neck is not engaging or efforting. Close your eyes. Briefly scan your body. Notice if there's any last little adjustment to make so that you can be here for a few minutes, relaxed in stillness. Dropping in, let go of regulating your breath. With your eyes closed and your body still, rest here a little longer. Bring your awareness throughout your physical body again. What sensations do you observe now? How does your body feel? Now begin to slowly move your fingers, moving your hands. Gently turn your head, feeling your neck. And little by little begin to release out of the posture. You might place your hands in your outer thighs to be able to lift your knees and step the feet out of the strap onto the ground. Allow a few breaths to gently and gradually find your way up into a comfortable seated position. You may like to use a prop to sit on as we prepare to start our few minutes of guided metta or loving kindness meditation. Sitting grounded, heart space open, spine tall, and whole body at ease. You might choose a gesture or mudra that cultivates awareness of your heart center, like simply placing your hands there. Or a mudra that helps you to focus, like thumb and first fingers touching. And then whether you close your eyes or you steady a soft gaze at eye level ahead, choose what allows you to visualize. Part of this meditation is visualization. So metta is the practice of extending loving kindness. And this meditation is a practice of cultivating the bhavanam, or the feeling tone of loving kindness, by awakening it from within. It's already there, that source of love. So as you allow the breath to easefully flow on its own, rest your mind's eye at the area of your heart center, towards your sternum and the center of your upper back. You might begin by visualizing a green, glowing, warm and nurturing light pulsing there. Sense any qualities of the heart that you would like to activate as you practice loving kindness. Compassion, peace, feeling connected, forgiveness, joy, happiness. What resonates the most for you right now? And let's strengthen that. Imagine seeing yourself, your human self, And mentally or out loud, say your name, acknowledge your presence. Using the most genuine words for you, I invite you to extend to yourself or gift yourself that quality of the heart you've chosen. For example, you might say, Michelle, may you enjoy loving connection. Or, I wish you happiness and peace. Allow a moment to gift yourself that. Now, who comes to mind? What being? When you think of someone who right away you find easy to love, someone that makes you smile when you hear their name, visualize them before you. And just like you offered yourself, I invite you to offer the same loving kindness to them using your words. Say their name. And now in your day-to-day life, think of someone, maybe their name you don't know, but they're a familiar face. And maybe you don't have very much emotion about them. You're more of a neutral relationship, an acquaintance, someone you pass by in the hallways or on your block when you're walking your dog. See them before you. And in the same way, I invite you to extend them the same words of loving kindness. Next, who comes to mind when I ask you to think of someone you might find challenging? Maybe you've had a difficult encounter with them recently. See them right before you, and I invite you to say their name and extend the same words of loving kindness. And now gather all of these beings just offered this gift to, and see them all standing before you, including yourself, your human self. And I invite you to offer them as a collective the same gesture of loving kindness. Letting metta or maitri continue to expand. Use your imagination to grow to whom you are extending this same gesture to. You might picture a community that you're a part of, offering them the same words. You might picture a larger scope of beings. Seeing this group become larger and larger, Who else might you include? And as you're ready, rest your attention back to the green, warm, nurturing light at your heart center. Simply sensing what's there now. If you're not already doing so, you might join your hands in prayer or rest them at your heart, bowing in appreciation. What do you appreciate right now? And then say once again to yourself your intention for this practice. Picture again that someone you chose to dedicate this practice to. And together, let's chant the Bija mantra of Anahata Chakra, Yam, 3 times. Inhale fully. Yam. 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 Bow in, recognizing the source of love within you. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.